that sometimes he could be so narrow-minded it's like living in the Dark Ages. I don't think he ever sees anything in shades of grey. It's always black and white, straightforward and simple. He has the answer to all the world's problems. He knows how to sort out illegal immigrants, stop the war, feed the world, and put an end to global warming, if only people would listen to him. Now, we were looking forward to going to the cinema that evening. I was clearing away the dinner pots and loading the dishwasher, while Dad was closing the curtains. For crying out loud, what sort of an idiot would do that? I moved over to the window. A red car was parked right in front of the drive gates outside our house, blocking our car in. I'll soon sort him out, Dad declared, ramming on his cap. What are you going to do? I said. I well know his explosive temper, although it's never been directed at me. He reserves it for the daily papers and the newscast to which he's addicted. He's the only person I know who takes 3 newspapers, the Express, the Mail and the Sun. He says it's the only way to get a balanced view on what's really happening. He marched down the drive and began rocking the red car. I ran after him. Dad, stop it! You'll have the police here, stop it! I grabbed his arm. What are you doing? I'll show him, he said. I'm setting off his alarm, that'll soon bring him running. What have I always told you, Linda? Don't get mad, get even. Trouble was, Dad got mad and even as well. I don't think there is one, Dad replied. I think it would have gone off by now. Bugger. He kicked the tyre and turned round to go back into the house. I followed him. It doesn't matter, I said. We can go tomorrow. No, he said. I want to go tonight. I've got pigeons tomorrow. You know I always have pigeons on a Thursday. Right, sorry, I forgot. But it's coming to something when you can't even get out of your own house for idiots. Who the hell does he think he is? Would he like it if I go and park on his drive, ignorant sod? We'll get the bus down, I said. It doesn't matter. There's one due in a few minutes. Come on. Linda, he said, I am not getting a bus, and neither are you at this time of night. They'll be full of students going out on their binges, and drug addicts too, I bet. Come on, Dad, I said. It's not that bad, even though it is. I went off into the kitchen to make a cup of tea. I could hear him muttering about irresponsibility and young people. I'm willing to bet that the thought it may have been somebody near his own age has never even crossed his mind. It was a long evening. He constantly flicked through the channels without any thought about what I might like to watch. It was relief when the news finished and he finally took himself off to bed. The red car was still there when I went up to bed myself. I prayed it would be gone by morning. I was woken by the sound of the front door creaking. All the doors in our house creak. All the garden gates too. Dad says it's a good burglar deterrent. I got out of bed and went downstairs. Dad was just returning to the house. He was wearing his hat and jacket over his pyjamas. What are you doing? I asked. It's freezing out there. You haven't got his tyres down, have you? Not exactly, he grinned. Without his teeth in, he looked like the world gurning champion. What have you done? I asked, peering out of the still open front door. Oh, Dad, you shouldn't have done that. You'll have the police on you for criminal damage. What were you thinking? I'm only inconveniencing him like he's inconvenienced me, he said, still grinning. Oh, there'll be trouble about this. And think of the expense. I know, £2.75 that roll of gaffer tape cost me, but it'll be worth it to see the look on his face. When he sees his shiny red car wrapped up like a parcel in a whole roll of it, he'll know how I feel. And he went off back to bed. The car was crisscrossed with silver gaffer tape. It was wound round the doors and over the bonnet. I couldn't imagine what the owner was going to think when he saw it. The strong sticky tape would have to be removed before anyone could get the doors open. I barely slept a wink. I kept thinking I could hear the police coming up the drive. As soon as it got light, I gave up and went downstairs to make a cup of tea. I didn't look out of the window. I didn't even draw the curtains. When Dad came down half an hour later, he went straight over and threw them open. I don't believe it, he said, righteous indignation oozing from every pore. I went over to have a look. The car had gone. Did you hear anything? He demanded. Not a thing, I said. Oh well, perhaps the bugger's learned a lesson. Perhaps he'll think twice about where he parks next time. Before Dad sat down to his tea and toast, he went to get his papers. They weren't on the mat where they should have been. "Linda, have you got the papers?" he yelled. "No," I said. "Why?" "That bloody paper lad again," he stormed, marching back into the kitchen and snatching up the phone. He tapped his feet impatiently while he dialed the local newsagent. There was no need for him to look up the number. Non-appearance of newspapers was a regular event. I've told Dad time and time again that he should make friends with the delivery boys and girls, but he won't listen. He barked his name and address at the person on the other end of the line, demanded to know why his papers hadn't been delivered. Then he went quiet. I glanced at him. His face was white. "Dad, you okay?" I came around the table as he slammed the phone down and stalked out of the front door. Dad, what's going on? What's the matter?" Then I saw. It wasn't discernible from a distance, but the black iron gates were wound round and round with black gaffer tape. There must have been about 6 rows or so. It passed through the beautifully intricate whorls and scrolls of the wrought iron, up around the catch and over the hinges. It passed behind the gatepost and was even wrapped around the stone lion heads on top of the gatepost. I looked at Dad, expecting to see smoke billowing from his ears, framing his scarlet expression of rage. But it was worse than that. My heart lurched and I ran towards him. As he clutched at the wall for support, he was leaning forward and shaking. A heart attack, brought on by stress. I warned him over and over again about his blood pressure, but did he ever listen? I grabbed his shoulder and he lifted his head. "Dad?" To my amazement, tears were slipping down his cheeks. His eyes were bright and he had the biggest smile I've ever seen him wear. He was laughing. I couldn't believe it. I hadn't seen him laugh like that since Mum died. He kept saying the same thing over and over again. "Don't get mad, get even." And then he started laughing again. It took him hours to remove all the tape, and all the time he was hacking away with a Stanley knife. He chuckled to himself. I kept him supplied with cups of tea, and each time I looked at him, I felt a little more weight lifting from my heart. Dad changed after that morning. He went back to being the sweet, kind man he used to be. And the strange thing is, we've never found out who that car belonged to. None of the neighbours mentioned it, and we were not visited by the police. The film we were going to see that night has just come out on DVD. I bought it for Dad for his birthday, and we're going to watch it together this evening. I even gift wrapped it for him. Thank you.